Sylvia, what years did you work in Jewish Family Service?
I think it was 1988 to 1996. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but it was roughly that time.
That's
And
great.
I worked under Marjorie Weiss.
And what made you decide to work at Jewish Family Service?
A friend of mine came to me and said that Marjorie wants to start a volunteer program, and she was looking for someone to be the volunteer director, and thought that I would fit the bill. And it was at a good time because it was part-time, and I liked the challenge. And so I met with Marjorie, and she was wonderfully friendly and warm and bubbly, and we clicked, and so I moved into that position.
How many volunteers were there for Jewish Family Service?
I'd say, firstly, I want to say that the board at the time was very helpful, and some of the board volunteered themselves, which was a great introduction for the volunteer program. But maybe 10 at the most, regulars, but we really had like 4 or 6 who were regular people who could drive regularly, and I what we needed for as far as volunteers go was people to visit. There were some people who liked to do that, and some people who liked to drive. A lot of the men were volunteered mostly to drive, and people were so lonely. I suddenly realized how awful it is that children grow up and leave Allentown, and their elderly parents are left behind, and some are forgotten. And there was also Beth Tikva, and there was some, and we had that Jewish floor, and so there were a lot. It was pretty full at the beginning, and there were a lot of single people who were really forgotten. And I didn't grow up with grandparents, so this was an introduction to me of what it's like to be an older person and not have family around. It was quite upsetting, actually. But we got a big push when the Russians came. That really brought Jewish Family Service to the people in Allentown. And suddenly I was able to find more volunteers, because now a lot of people wanted to help, and we needed to get apartments for them and to fit out the apartments and fill it. And people volunteered in so many different ways, by donating household goods, furniture, organizing to transport everything, which is quite a big thing, also to transport the furniture, and finding apartments. A lot of things were by word of mouth, and that became very exciting. I think the volunteer gets more out of it than the person who you're helping, because when you have to ask for help, that's pretty lousy, and you come and you learn something. And most of the people that I came into contact with, I learned something from each one. They all had something to add to make me, I hope, a better person than I was initially. It was a very good experience. I'll tell you what I really learned. The most important thing is, grow older, but don't grow old. That's the most important thing